Hi and welcome to my channel. So as you know, the Nursing and Midwifery Council in the UK has recently updated guidance on how you can apply to work as a nurse in the UK. And some of these changes have meant that you can register to work as a nurse in the UK even if you trained overseas without IELTS or OET. And look, this is something that is so amazing. And this is a change that is really welcome because IELTS OET has been a massive challenge with some applicants and their inability really to be able to work in the UK. So in this video, I'm going to talk about one of these pathways where you can register to work as a qualified nurse in the UK, even if you trained overseas, obviously without needing IELTS or OET, which is the normally accepted English language test. So it is really important that with guidance from the NMC, you do some more research, check on their website as well to make sure that you're aware of what your position is with regards to the position of the NMC, because some of the guidance can be really confusing. And I've had people asking lots of questions regarding this. And that's why I thought I should do this video, obviously talk about it. So if you're new to my channel, you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, I appreciate your time and I do hope that you're finding this information helpful, you're finding this useful, you're able to implement it because look, it can be challenging to follow through with these processes, but the truth is that you have a lot to gain by actually taking the pain to follow through and do what is needed for you to be able to work as a registered nurse. Going to university to study as a nurse is something that is very laborious, and you don't want to waste it. If you're a nurse, no matter where you've studied and you're not currently practicing as a nurse, or you're wanting to work in the UK as a nurse, you need to make use of it because nursing is highly sought after. Nursing is one of the best degrees that you can have. And so please make the most of it and appreciate the opportunities that come with being a nurse. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you do want to hit subscribe right now and turn on that notification button so you're the first to be notified every single time when I drop a new video on here, because I'm really keen that you get the most up-to-date information about career progression opportunities in the UK, changes that are happening in the UK, visa sponsorship opportunities in the UK, work from home jobs, as well as those opportunities for you to start a side business. So I do have a free newsletter that you can join, and I'll be able to send that info directly to your inbox so that you don't miss out. So if you check the comment section below, you see a link to my newsletter. Once you join, then like I say, I'll send that information directly to your inbox. If you're part of my newsletter right now, then obviously I've already sent information about all of what I'm going to be talking about in this video to you. But most importantly, it's not going to take you up to 20 seconds to join. You drop your name and email and you're part of the newsletter. But let's get started. So like I was saying, the NMC has brought in many different pathways right now that you can use to register as a nurse in the UK. But you need to make sure that you're doing research. If you're taking advice, make sure you're taking it from the right people who understand the industry, and you're checking as well from the NMC website, because there's quite a lot of confusion with different pathways and who is eligible and what you need to do. So the way the NMC has said about registering without having IELTS or OET is that this is for people who trained in English. So if you did your training in English, and by the way, if you've got any questions, I want to leave them in the comment section below and I'll be able to join you there. And also, before I get started, if you're wondering who I am, by the way, just to set, the pace here. So my name is Melvis. I'm a nurse myself. So I work as an advanced nurse practitioner here in the UK. I started my healthcare journey working as a carer in a nursing home, fell in love with nursing, decided that, I wanted to become a nurse. And then I studied nursing in the UK as an international student. So I studied adult nursing. I graduated with a first class degree in adult nursing. And ever since then, I've progressed beautifully in my nursing journey to now working as an advanced nurse practitioner, which is a very senior nursing position. I'm currently doing my master's in advanced clinical practice. I'm in my third year, my last 6 months now. I'm really looking forward to finishing. And then I'll be a certified, fully qualified advanced nurse practitioner, which is so fantastic. And when I was moving to the UK, really, this was my dream to become a nurse practitioner. I didn't expect that I was going to achieve this so soon in my career, but I feel so grateful for the people that have supported me through this journey. I can never appreciate them enough. And the hard work that I've put in has all been worth it in the end. And I have a private career coaching program where I support nurses, carers, students, student nurses, prospective student nurses with career progression in the UK. So if you are a nurse, you want to move to the UK, you're thinking pathways was the best, what specialty should I get into? I can support you with that. If you're already in the UK, for example, as a carer, but you're a nurse or midwife and you're thinking, how do I actually transition? Again, I can support you with that journey. If you are wanting to get into nursing with, you've got no prior nursing experience whatsoever, I can also support you with the best pathway for you to use. Because look, there are many pathways you can use to become a nurse that if you don't know the best pathway for your personal circumstances, you may end up missing out. And also, if you're already a qualified nurse or midwife and you're thinking, what are the career progression opportunities? I want to become a nurse specialist, advanced nurse practitioner, nurse endoscopist, nurse manager. What can I do? Again, I can support you with that. So if you check the description box below or the about section of this YouTube channel, you're going to find my private coaching program, Nursing Career Bootcamp. Once you join, then you get that tailored, individualized, and personalized support for your own needs to make sure that you progress, you excel, you thrive, and you achieve, your own goals as well here in the UK. So like I was saying, the NMC has identified 3 different ways that you can join the NMC register, have a PIN number, and work in the UK as a qualified nurse without writing out OET. The first one is that the NMC has said you need to do an NMC approved program and you will be exempted from IELTS or OET. So this is for people that have studied nursing, the approved nursing programs in the UK. Me, for example, I didn't ever write IELTS or OET because I studied an NMC approved program in the UK. So again, those are the first people exempted. And if you're watching this and you're wanting to study nursing in the UK, there are some courses that are not accredited. If you study some of those nursing courses, you will not get your NMC PIN number upon successful completion. So you do need to be really careful which courses you choose to study when it comes to nursing, especially if you're coming as an international student, because you may not know. I've seen people who studied thinking, oh my God, I'll have an NMC PIN number. At the end of the course, they don't have it. Some of the courses are 2 years and people are paying about £17,000 per year. So you do need to be careful. You need to be wise. You need to be very strategic. Make sure you get advice when you're embarking on such a project. So that's the first one. The second one is that you studied in English as well in a majority English speaking country. So these people are also exempted from writing IELTS or OET. So as you know, there is a list of countries that if you're from any of those countries and you studied nursing, you are exempted from writing IELTS or OET. So again, which country are you from? If you leave a comment in the comment section below, I'll be able to say whether that country is exempted from writing IELTS and OET or not. So please do leave the name of your country down in the comment section below, or any country they want to find out about, and I'll be able to provide that information as to whether you are now exempted from writing IELTS or OET, or you're still expected to write IELTS or OET. So that's the second group of people that are exempted from writing IELTS or OET, which means if you're from any of these countries, once you graduate from your nursing school, you can simply work in the UK. You don't need IELTS or OET, but you just need to go through the other process of getting your NMC PIN number. By the way, if you're enjoying this content, I want you to like the video. Let me know I should, do content like this, because it's what you want, it's what you like, it's what you find really helpful. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you do want to hit subscribe right now. Turn on the notification button so you're the first to be notified when I drop a new video on here. But most importantly, do share this with your nurse friends, nurse colleagues, nurse relatives, so that they're aware of these changes and they can make the most and take advantage of these opportunities, because there may be people right now who are struggling to write IELTS or OET, not knowing that they're now exempted from these tests. And then the third group, which is something that is very important and really relevant this time and age, is people that studied in English but in a non-majority English-speaking country, which means that you've studied in English but in a country that isn't eligible for the second step that we've just spoken about. Again, if you're not sure whether you fall in the second group that we've spoken about or the third group, then please do leave a comment in the comment section below. Leave your questions and I'll be able to answer those questions. If you want that individualized, that personalized advice, consider joining my private coaching program, where I'm able to support you with that journey, so that we can look at your case. What's the situation with you? What are you doing? Where did you study? What do you need? Where are you? The whole, story really, because there's quite a lot involved. And I currently have, quite a few nurses in my program that are going through this process, and There's so many different variables right now. Each person's case has to be taken as an individual, and there's quite a lot involved, but it is worth it in the end, because obviously if you follow any of these pathways, you don't write IELTS or OET, and these are the only legal ways that you can work in the UK as a qualified nurse without IELTS or OET. Again, also check the NMC website. Obviously, if you want more details, more clarifications, email, you can contact the NMC as well. They'll be able to provide you more information. It's just that sometimes their responses are kind of automated. So but you can get that information obviously if you're part of a private coaching program, especially support from other members. What I've found really helpful recently is that there are so many people going through the process that there's been quite a lot of support between the members themselves, because people, some people have already had their PIN numbers, others are still working on it. So there's that exchange of information, there's that community spirit, there's that help that is happening that is so incredible. If you're doing this alone, it can be really hard. So having a group of people who are also going through it and others who have already succeeded is something that is really, really helpful. And even me, I've learned a lot from this journey since I started. I've had this program for over 2 years now. So it's not something that is new. I've had it for over 2 years doing all of this. So if you studied in English in a non-majority English-speaking country, the way that you need to do is that you need to be in the UK. So you need to be physically in the UK. If you're somebody who is currently in the UK working as a carer, working in healthcare, obviously you're going to be eligible for this pathway. So you've got to be in the UK. You've got to be working within health and social care, and you're supposed to have worked for at least 12 months full-time to be eligible for this particular pathway. So 12 months full-time in health and social care, which means if you're working in a role that is not eligible, obviously, you can't use that. You need to be in health and social care. For example, people that are working as domiciliary carers, working in nursing homes, working for the NHS, working in wherever you're working, it really does not matter. And you're supposed to have worked there for at least 12 months. If you're working full-time, you need to have 12 months equivalent in the hours that you've worked. So again, you need to know that it's not about visa sponsorship or anything like that, because there are people in the UK who are already British citizens, but they trained overseas and they haven't been able to work in the UK as nurses because they have not passed IELTS or OET. So obviously your circumstance is going to be different. And if you're not in healthcare and you're wanting to avoid that IELTS or OET, this is the perfect time for you to consider getting into healthcare, maybe, so that you can be eligible for this pathway. Because if you're working in another sector, say IT or wherever, you won't be able to do so. I'm saying because I know many people who are currently pursuing this pathway. The next thing is that you need to have a line manager, obviously, that is NMC registered. So your line manager has to be, a nurse or a midwife, because if your line manager is not a nurse or midwife, they are not able to sign on your behalf. Whoever signs the form has to be a nurse or midwife. And while there was a lot of confusion initially as to what their positions are going to be, the NMC has now clarified this, which is absolutely amazing. So the NMC has said the first person that signs that has to be a line manager has to be at least band 6, which means that they have to be a senior nurse. So you can't just get, any random person to do so for you. It's got to be at least a band 6 position that signs that as your line manager, and they've got to be registered with the NMC. So again, you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you're working in domiciliary care, for example, most of them don't have NMC registrants. They don't have nurses. They're not supposed to have nurses. They're not obliged to have nurses. If you've got any challenges with this, again, leave a comment in the comment section below. So they've got to be at least a band 6. The next thing is that the NMC would accept a maximum of 2 line managers. So if you're somebody who is like bank staff, how are you going to do that? Because if you have so many different people that you're working with, that is going to be another challenge. Because the NMC has said, even though they'll accept experience for a period of 12 months, you're supposed to have at least 6 months in one of the jobs, and they would only accept a maximum of 2 line managers to sign for you. So again, if you want to use this pathway, you need to be very smart and very strategic with which jobs you're accepting, what contract you're having, what hours you're working, where you're working, and make sure that you have everything in place to fit the criteria, so that when you do apply, the NMC is going to accept your application. But most importantly, you're going to meet the required criteria. So that's the next thing. The next thing is that form, you need another NMC registrant to countersign the form. They are countersigning the form, obviously, to say that it's been fair, it's been very consistent. You're working in that area. They've seen you work there and all of that, and that the information provided is obviously correct. This second person also has to be registered with the NMC. Not only that, they have to be a very senior nurse, at least about an 8A. So again, you need to make, and that's why I always say, creating those networks, having that visibility, having that interaction with the people that you work with is so incredibly important. There are some nurses who are able, or some people that when they're working, they're able to establish a really good relationship. And this is the time where you need to make the most of those relationships, not because you want to be biased, but because it's the time for your hard work to pay off. So you need to go to those people and say, look, matron, because obviously to be about 8A, you need to be a matron, for example, advanced nurse practitioner. You need to be, it's a really senior position. And so, you need to make sure that where you're working, they've got people in such a high level, and they are able and willing to sign for you, because this is somebody signing off their own NMC PIN number to say that they're aware that you've worked there, you can speak English, you've been working and speaking in English, and obviously it's in the UK. So that's what they're basically saying. So this is the time for you to reach out to those colleagues that you know, those senior colleagues that you know, and ask for this evidence. And then obviously once you've got all of these things, the NMC is then going to ask for extra evidence to show that you actually did study in English in your home country. Because obviously all these people that will be going through the third pathway, obviously the second and third, are people who've mainly studied, out of the UK, for example. So you will need to show evidence that you did indeed study, in English back in your home country. Because if you did not study in English, if you study, say, in French, you will not be eligible for this pathway. That's what I must say. So if you're, say, from Cameroon, to give an example, Cameroon is a bilingual country. I think it's the only bilingual country in Africa. If you study nursing in English, in Cameroon, you will be eligible for this pathway. If you're from Cameroon, but you studied nursing in French, you will not be able to use this pathway. So basically, that's what they're saying. So you need to be very smart, very wise, read. In fact, all of the lines regarding this pathway, I've gone through it so many times. I go through it every day because, like I say, I've got many members in my program that are currently going through different pathways. And some days I literally like, what are they saying? What's the guidance? Has anything changed? Is it still the same? Because it's a lot of toing and froing with the NMC, to get this sorted. But we do have success stories. There are people that have successfully registered, recently through this pathway that have got their NMC PIN numbers. They're currently looking for jobs in the UK. Some have already found their jobs, they're undergoing their OSCEs and all of that. So it is 100% legit. The NMC has, now opened this pathway, and it is currently ongoing, obviously, like I say. So in case you were not aware, now you do know. So make sure that you've got all these requirements that we've spoken about. If you're still out of the UK, obviously you cannot use this pathway, but once you get here, it's going to be a massive advantage. And I think this is the advantage of people that have worked as carers, people that decided to move to the UK as carers. This is the time where it is now paying off. I remember when this pathway initially opens and nurses were coming in as carers and midwives, I initially thought, the UK is getting cheap labor. You're getting nurses as carers. That's not really good. But when I began to have these people join my program and I saw the impact that it had, the positive impact that it had in their careers, in their journeys, the fact that they could afford, even if the IELTS test, the English test, and all of that, it was really satisfying. Until now, the advantages that have come out of this pathway, I really, really do embrace and appreciate them. And to see colleagues who have been in this country for so many years, have extensive experience in the UK as carers, but they're qualified nurses from back home, having to see them have their NMC PIN numbers and work without needing out to OET is the best thing that the NMC could have introduced. This pathway, as far as I'm concerned, is the best change that has occurred in the UK in the last year. And I really do hope that the NMC continues to bring in other pathways. I've also shared a video on here about a new pathway that the NMC introduced for people who are unable to provide the normal evidence that they would normally ask for. It is amazing what you can do now, the different pathways available to register as a qualified nurse in the UK. So do take advantage of these pathways, these opportunities. Do make sure that, one thing also, share this with your friends, with your loved ones, with your families, with everyone that you know that is a nurse that is struggling with IELTS OET, that this is a pathway where you don't need that. And you just need the things that we've mentioned, and you need to show evidence, obviously, that you did indeed study in English. And it is a very extensive piece of evidence. But if you've studied in English, obviously, it's eventually going to get there. It does take a while, like I say, I've got people going through this process. It is not like, when you have your IELTS OET, you submit, it's a straightforward process. This one isn't quite like that. But the thing is that in the end, it does take longer, obviously, but you're going to get there in the end, which is good, because at least you don't have to write out to OET, which, like I say, is a very welcome development, that we can all really say, and a huge advantage for those people that have moved to the UK as carers, even though they're nurses, midwives, nursing associates, obviously back home, because these are the three groups of people that are eligible to register with the Nursing and Midwifery Council in the UK. I hope you found this helpful. Again, if you need that personalized, that tailored advice, you can, consider joining my private coaching program where I can support you with that. Join my newsletter as well. It's free. Check the comment section below. You're going to find it there. But also, if you subscribe to the channel, I do share lots of info here. So it's also going to help you to make sure that you're just aware of what's going on, career progression, pathways, opportunities, and all of that. I hope you found this helpful. Please leave any comments in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.